Welcome to your Stick Niner Empire podcast. I'm here with your two wonderful hosts, Lucas and Luke. I'm Iron Mike. Let's jump right into it, guys. The 49ers won this week by the score of 22-16. I think this was a great win in the sense that we had to claw our way back on top. I think this is a character win. I think this was the biggest game for us of the year so far because it proves what we're capable of doing. And let's face it, guys, we came out of this game. I don't think we came out with no injuries, if I'm correct. So your thoughts on it, starting with you, Luke.
So I think one of the biggest things that happened in this game was the adjustments on the part of the defense, you guys, at halftime. I mean, to get that quick touchdown, San Diego kind of scared us a little bit. But, man, they just really made those adjustments. I think the last 2 weeks, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know that we've allowed any points in the second half the last 2 weeks.
Correct.
Which is a sign that DeMeco Ryans is going to be a head coach soon. I mean, it's a sign that they're making some serious adjustments at halftime, which the defense, I think, especially in this game, we needed them because it wasn't so easy on offense, and then they kind of put it together in the second half. Ayuk ended up having a big game, but, man, that was a huge drop in the end zone. I don't know. What was your take on this one, Lucas?
So, yeah, Jimmy put it on him. I mean, I thought he had the best game of anybody on the team. We don't win that game unless Jimmy is as clutch and as efficient as he was on third down. He made a couple of big time throws. He put it on Brandon Ayuk on a huge third down in the fourth quarter that we really needed. That really impressed me. I thought the play he extended and was able to hit Ray McLeod on a big 30-yarder.
Huge.
Was something we're not really used to seeing that in the 4 or 5 years that Jimmy's been on the team. And I think he's just getting more and more comfortable every week, boys. Like, he's playing like a top 5 quarterback right now. And he keeps this up. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to be playing in Glendale, Arizona come February. So I loved what I saw out of Jimmy. No interceptions, no interception-worthy throws even. You can make a case the last game against the Rams that, probably could have had 1 or 2 interceptions that were dropped. So it's back-to-back weeks, no turnovers by Jimmy. Brandon Ayuk actually, if you take away the drop and the fumble,
big game.
He had a really good game. That would have put him over the top. That would have been his big game of the year so far, but loved what I saw out of him. What we really didn't have is a lot of Debo, a lot of Kittle. And I guess for the first part of the game, you can kind of say Christian McCaffrey was involved, but Elijah Mitchell was kind of given the task and kind of ending the game or finishing the game. I thought he had an amazing first game, for a guy that hasn't played since week 2. I thought he was looking really quick, elusive, finishing runs, getting extra yards, breaking tackles. I love what I saw of Elijah Mitchell. It's so good to have him back. And we don't just have a 1-2 punch. We have a 1-2-3 punch in the backfield with Christian McCaffrey, Debo, and Elijah Mitchell back there. It's going to be scary. I think going forward, we're going to get more and more from the run attack. And we're not even going to have to rely on Jimmy too much other than, maybe some short third down conversions here and there. I don't know. What do you think, Mike? What'd you think out of your boy, Jimmy Garoppolo, baby?
Well, before I jump to Jimmy, let me just reiterate everything you just said. It was wonderful to watch Elijah Mitchell play the way he did. Man, he looked like he never missed a beat. Man, I don't know if it was my eyes or what. He looked like the exact same player, but I almost feel like his vision was just opening up. He was catching everything, and he was dishing out punishment there. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he was running through tackles also.
Yeah.
Kudos to him. Kudos to him. He's gonna make this offense much more explosive. As far as Jimmy probably did have his best game of the year. I agree with you. I did write down notes on it. There were no interception worthy throws, and if Jimmy does play like that, then I'm gonna totally agree with you. This is a Super Bowl caliber team if Jimmy continues to play that way.
I think they were close to 50% on their third down conversions too as well. I mean, that was huge. Third and 8 plus.
My only
almost 50%.
My only gripe would be that he still throws the ball a little ahead of the receiver, but I'd rather have him throw ahead of the receiver than behind the receiver, where it could be an interception
So
or something like that.
Situational.
to his defense, I think he actually threw the ball away 3 times, which brings him to a grand total of 4 this year, which is really hard to believe. Just in the a modern quarterback, like, if it's not there, you throw the ball down, you throw the ball away, you throw
Throw it
it into
away
the sideline, you
Yeah.
throw it into the feet of the receiver
in
if
the
he's covered
area
by
of the
2 guys.
receiver. Yeah, it has to be
He
the
actually
area
did
of the
that.
Special.
He was credited, this is NFL, credited with 3 throwaways. So add that to the one prior to this game, and he's got a grand total of 4. I like that.
He's on a
I want
roll.
to see more of that.
Yeah.
If it's not there, don't take the sack. Don't throw the interception.
Yeah, don't
Make the
force
smart
it.
play. Do what Brady and Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers have done for years to avoid taking those big losses. So, maybe this is the new Jimmy.
I'm gonna give him an
We'll see the new
A-.
era.
How's that? Just because I thought a few of the passes to Ayuk really had to stretch out. I'm gonna give him an A- because I think he did everything he had to do. Honestly,
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I'd have to agree with that, and I think that the only bad thing he probably did this whole game is he didn't get that first third down quarterback sneak, but then he picked it up on the 4th down. So, other than that, he had a near flawless game.
yeah, I was calling for that play in the end zone, man. Just run it up with Jimmy. You're gonna get it. Just run it up with Jimmy. He's the king of that, Since we're on awards, what's it called? The Golden Tip Award, the Golden Stick Award, not the Golden Tip, the Golden Stick Award. Who gets the Golden Stick Award this week? I believe that's what the best defensive player of the game.
Who's up first? Who picked last week?
I picked first last week, round the horn. So let's start with Arango. I think actually, no, it's you, Lucas. You're first. Then Arango. Then
all right. This one's going to be easy. Charles Omenihu. So I found this out yesterday, and I thought it was a very telling stat. When it comes to pass rush win rate, he's one of the top 5 guys in the league. So we're talking guys like Myles Garrett, Bosa, Micah Parsons, 3 guys you consider to be like the top pass rushers in the league.
Wow.
He's number 4 on that list, ahead of Micah Parsons. So every time he rushes the quarterback, he either gets a pressure or wins the matchup or gets the sack at a very high rate. I think it's somewhere in the teens, which for a guy coming into the season, we didn't really think of as going to be, that important of a player. He's turned out to be our second best pass rusher next to Nick. Like Nick's never going to be second fiddle to anybody on this team, but Charles Omenihu had a hell of a game. He had some good pressures. It just seemed like he was around the ball a lot. I think he's been the brightest spot or the brightest surprise on the defense so far this year. And yeah, he gets my golden spike. Rango, you're up. What do you got?
Is he part of the NASCAR package when they do that, like with all the
quicker
defensive ends?
Yeah. I can't remember if he gets lined up on the inside or the outside. I think they put him on the inside and bring in Drake Jackson as the outside defensive end. He does
defensive end on the other end. Yeah, right. He's amazing. Mine will be pretty easy. I'm gonna go with old traditional. I gotta go with Nick Bosa, not because of I think he had like 4 or 5 pressures. He had a sack. But because of everything he does around it, like forcing the quarterback, even if he doesn't get a pressure, he's still pushing the pocket from one area so other guys can get sacks and make great plays as well. Nick Bosa, I mean, he's the most held player in the NFL the last 2 years straight. No one's even close to that. And he's just fantastic, and he always finds a way around it. He never complains, and he's just a star. And and God forbid injuries hurt him or derail his career. He's on that trajectory, talent wise. He should be a Hall of Famer one day if he could just keep this up. And with his work ethic, I mean, there's no reason to think he wouldn't get there.
Hell yeah.
I give it to Nick.
Nice. So
Luke, you're up.
You guys both took my guys, and you took my words and my guys. So
that's why I was happy I got to pick twice. Second,
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna.
No. We actually left you somebody really good, and I'm hoping you take it.
Yeah. We did.
You can say who that is, but after I have my thought on this one, and this is a very this is a tough limb to climb out on. But I'm gonna say GreenLaw. The reason why I'm going to say that is because one, that play he got kicked out on was complete BS.
Bullshit.
Terrible call. And the second one, he was playing a great game until that happened, and it was not his fault that he left, but he handled it professionally, and he just left the field with a grin on his face because he knew it was bullshit. But I'm going to take GreenLaw because I think that it's important that people realize that he didn't do anything wrong on that play. And especially when you consider if he was a free runner at that point, they called it because he's a quarterback no matter what they say in New York. Obviously, if that was a regular player, and he got pushed into GreenLaw's helmet, he didn't lower his head. So it was.
The reason his head was being lowered is GreenLaw's aiming for a moving target. So as he's tackling the quarterback's going down. GreenLaw's trying to hit a moving target. I don't think there was any. He wasn't trying to do anything malicious. He wasn't trying to do anything malicious or anything like that. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all. It was a BS call, as you stated earlier. He should not have been kicked out. Even the announcers agreed.
Yeah, so I'm going with GreenLaw and not Lenore. Or who are you thinking?
So I thought you were going to go with Elijah Mitchell, just in terms of.
No, but we're going. It's defense around the horn. Only defense.
Oh, we're just going defense.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would have gone maybe Fred Warner. I mean, he did wind up having the most tackles.
Yeah.
He had some good pressures. I like the fact that D'Amico was sending him on some blitzes, and that seems to be in a very effective blitz when he puts him on the line of scrimmage and he has him loop around. It seems like he always either gets to the quarterback or at least forces an early throw, which can lead to turnovers. So I want to see more of that. I love as great a coverage linebacker as he is, and sticking to tight ends and wide receivers. I love seeing him blitz. It just
nice. Yeah.
It hits home. It hits home 9 times out of 10.
If I had to pick a player that did not get disqualified, it would be probably Warner or Lenore. I think that it's hard to see Lenore as a player of the game or something, or getting the game ball. But if you look at his play, he had to step in a really tough spot, and he held his own for the most part. There was a pass interference call that's questionable, but in general, I think that to come in and be the starter now, he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's had a quiet, nice 2 or 3 games. I would say 2 games. He didn't really play that well against the Chiefs. They kind of picked on him a little bit, but I think the last 2 games he's given up only maybe 2 or 3 catches for 7 yards. I heard, which is just stupid good. So you got to give it to Lenore. He's kind of come into his own. I want to see how he does against some of the better elite wide receivers. That's one thing that San Diego didn't have coming into this matchup is a lot of healthy talent. I think their top 4 wide receivers were all hurt. So, before we go anointing him as this,
that's true.
Star cornerback, I want to see it against, some of the better wide receivers out there.
Well, then you could also take Hufanga, who sealed the game with that incredible catch. I thought he hit the ground, man, until I saw the replay.
That was a killer interception. That was a killer interception.
It was a great interception, but I can't give it to Hufanga based on that blown coverage he gave up.
Yep,
the first quarter.
I was going to say this. I was thinking the exact same thing early in the game. You can't give it to him.
It was pretty rough, man. Yeah.
That was a complete mental breakdown. He should have been back there defending that deep pass, and that was completely on him.
But again, credit D'Amico Ryans for making the adjustments. And halftime after that, they didn't look back, man. They definitely made the proper adjustments, which is huge in a game like that because it was a closer game than any of us would have wanted to have.
Yeah. So guys, I want to kind of transition to down in the trenches, but make it more of a discussion. We got to talk about Mike McGlinchey. I'm getting a lot of anger and aggression towards him. I think people think he's playing bad because he has these very visible 2 or 3 plays a game. It could be a holding at a crucial time or a missed block that leads to a pressure or a sack. I don't think he's playing that bad, guys. He actually was rated fairly well this last game. If you look at the top players rated by PFF, Pro Football Focus, he was the 6th best Niner on the team on Sunday. That's not a bad game. They have him ranked against all the other starters on the team as being the sixth best that started. But for whatever reason, everybody wants to, say he needs to be benched or traded or, whatever. Like, it's I think a lot of people that don't really know the game and don't watch offensive linemen every single play don't realize that most reps are pretty good for him.
Yeah. And, it helps that we had a healthy Trent Williams lately that really helps push that line. And I think when he's out there, they all play better, including McGlinchey.
Did you guys
How do
notice
you think
that play?
He's been playing?
With Trent Williams, like look at what happened with Mitchell. He had 100+ yards in that game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
I'm just saying that with the run, with a healthy Williams, and McGlinchey's been holding his own as far as the run game goes.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think? What's your McGlinchey take?
I think his 5th-year option is going to be a big topic of discussion, obviously, this offseason. It's tough to make a decision on him because he might have played good 98% of the game, but I think he gave up 2 sacks, didn't he? Also, though, can't remember if it was 1 or 2. I know he gave up at least 1.
We didn't have any. I don't think we had any sacks this last game.
No,
really, none.
No sacks. No sacks.
He had a clean jersey.
Pressures.
Oh, wow. I mean, if that's the case, then he really did have a good game. I was on the impression maybe they took one back or something. I don't know because I remember it was discussed by the announcers. Man, it's hard to pinpoint on him. Here's the thing though: we don't have anyone better than him behind him. So if that's the case, you basically have to re-sign him if that's the case. But he's going to command quite a decent chunk of change based on the years he's been playing. So they're thinking anywhere from like 13 to 15. I think that's too much though.
Yeah.
So,
and here's the thing is while he's
a tough
deficient,
player.
Yeah.
He's deficient as a pass blocker. We all know that. He's a little stiff, but he's one of the best run blocking tackles in the game.
Wonderful. Yeah.
He is literally right there with Trent Williams in run blocking grade. Yeah. So, look at it as a basketball player who's great on defense, like a Draymond Green, but then, gives you very little offensively other than, passing and rebounding. It's a tough call. Like, do you pay a player like that? Do you appreciate a player like that, or do you kick him to the curb and
I think they try and work it out with
another Trent Williams, which those are
that's too much
once in a generation players. Yeah, exactly.
Too much money.
Can't afford 2 Trent Williams.
They have to try and get him at a bargain price or at a decent rate, and we try and re-sign him. That's what I think that they'll do. But if there's any corner that they want to cut, I think that they might shoot there. But again, it really depends financially. How much is he willing to take or not take?
Could also partly depend on what happens the rest of this season, how they end up doing. I mean, if we actually do go to the Super Bowl and win and he has a big game, and it could change everything, right? I mean, as far as like picking him up for another year, right now I would say probably not, because a lot of these young guys they're developing are good. And, I don't know that he's, after that many years, he's proven that he's okay. He's pretty good, and he's really good at times and good at certain things, but then obviously has some weaknesses that get exploited sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, what are their alternatives? Do we move Spencer Burford to right tackle and maybe start someone like Poe? I think he's on the practice squad, but he's somebody that looked good in the preseason and I thought was going to make the team for sure. Or do we put someone like Jalen Moore on the right side? So those are things to consider. But I think right now our best option is stick with what's working. And right now what's working is Mike McGlinchey on the right side. No sacks.
Yeah.
We won. We ran the ball effectively. We had close to 150 yards on the ground. So let's go with that, like option A.
And what was your grade as far as quarterback protection on that during that game, Lucas? They did a pretty good job.
So yeah, like Jimmy was rushed a little bit. I don't think he didn't have any sacks, but he definitely had to get rid of the ball pretty fast on a couple plays and throw the ball away, which I'm glad he did. I would give them an A-. It wasn't perfect. I thought McGlinchey was getting pushed back a little bit by Khalil Mack, but anytime you have to go against a guy that's he's one of the best pass rushers in the league. Like he's another guy that was in the top 5 in pass rush efficiency. He's going to get his. It's a tough assignment. He's strong. He's fast. He's very athletic, so nobody's going to play well against him. And you could tell, like, he was avoiding going up against Trent Williams. He wanted to see if he could pick on McGlinchey, and he had some good pressure, but he didn't get any sacks in the end. So I'd have to give the entire team as a whole an A minus. And I just want to point out a little bonus shout out to Aaron Banks. He still hasn't allowed a sack all season.
Nice.
I think he's been our best, most consistent, healthiest offensive lineman so far this year. So
that's
love
awesome.
what I see out of the second-year guy out of Notre Dame.
Just on an off note, did anybody notice? I thought this was the funniest play of the game. There was a play when Trent Williams pulled out from the left side and he ran toward the right, and all the linebackers, half the team on the Chargers, went after Trent Williams, thinking the running back was going that way when the running back was going the other way.
Which play was that? Was it?
Man, I can't tell you what quarter, but I thought it was hysterical. It's like if they got dummied by Trent Williams. Everyone ran after Trent Williams instead of running after the running back because they thought was
it the naked boot that Jimmy got?
I can't remember. They ran strong left, but Trent Williams pulled out, like stunted out, and went toward the middle right, and then everyone emerged there. And meanwhile, I think it was Elijah Mitchell just jogs into like the left. He didn't jog in, but he just ran through the left. I thought it was hysterical. Like you're looking for the wrong guy, man. That guy's not an offensive weapon.
Gotta love those misdirection plays that throw everyone off. It's like
that caught me. I saw the game for the second time last night. I didn't catch it the first time, but I thought it was kind of funny. Going for the biggest guy there instead of going for the actual offensive player, the offensive weapon.
Right.
But pretty good stuff.
So
man.
let's get into this next week's matchup. We're in Mexico City, boys. Well, we're not in Mexico City, but the team will be in Mexico City against the Arizona
Mexico City's
Cardinals.
not ready for me, man. Mexico City's not ready for me if I go there.
So that's another primetime game only in Mexico City, right?
Yeah, it's going to be Monday night.
Nice.
Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. I think that city has got about like 20 million something people in that surrounding area. So
wow.
I heard most of them are Niner fans too. Like, believe it or not, there's a big Niner following in Mexico City.
It makes sense because Metallica overall goes there regularly and they're huge there.
Yeah.
In Mexico City, like when Metallica has a concert, it's like a huge deal. And Metallica represents San Francisco, which Niners.
So this should be a case where even though technically it's an Arizona Cardinals home game, I think it's going to be overwhelmingly for the 49ers. So look for them to have to do things like silent counts and, adjust for the crowd noise, because I think it's going to be overwhelmingly 49er fans down there. What do you guys think? How's it going to play out? What's your predictions for the game?
Go ahead, Arango. Take it.
Before I get into predictions, I think Cardinal fans are just weird people in general. If you ever met a Cardinal fan, I was at a bar for the first game with Susie, and there were like 3-4 Cardinal fans behind us. And I was like, now this is something you don't see, a traveling Cardinals fan, but they weren't really traveling for the game. They were just, anyway, to make a long story short, I don't see Cardinal fans traveling as well as Niner fans. I think the Niner fans have really taking the bull by the horns, man. Steeler fans were always famous for years and years for traveling so well. So were Packer fans. Packer fans aren't traveling the way they used to. I don't know what the deal is with that, but 49er fans are just taking over game after game wherever we go. You see it in every stadium. It's a beautiful thing, right? So as far as the Cardinals go, they got DeAndre Hopkins back, right? Just a few weeks ago or so. So that's what, so Dortch now is taking a back seat. D-Hop's a wonderful receiver. I've never been a big fan of Kyler Murray. I'm glad that we drafted Boza.
I don't think he's going to play. Wasn't Colt McCoy playing last game? What's the status on Kyler Murray?
Not Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy.
The guy who raped us the last game,
Yeah.
We don't want to face two games ago. We don't want to face Colt
crazy
McCoy.
Is as a backup for the Cardinals, he has a win against every team in the NFC West. He's beaten us, the Rams, and the Seahawks. So,
and we're not at home, and we're not at our home away from home Arizona, which we had to play there because of COVID, right, for a while.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fans there. Mexico City, it's kind of we don't even know what this game's going to be like as far as the fans go. Hopefully you're right, Arango, and a lot of Niner fans go, but man, that's kind of scary. Just because that Colt, man, he's got our I don't know what it is, Maybe he
Well,
has the Jedi mind trick thing going on.
no.
And for whatever reason, the Cardinals just always play us well. It's just like one of those teams.
Well, part of the reason, a big part of that
be
reason
undefeated,
is,
and I would still be afraid of playing the Cardinals. Just like I know they're gonna.
I would say the biggest part of that though is usually not stopping Kyler Murray's running ability. He's always been able to, those little short quarterbacks that run around and do those tricks that, those little midget guys like Russell Wilson, these little peewee football guys, they give us a hard time, and he's not an exception. He's a hard guy to catch. Again, I'm not sure if he's playing this game or not, but if he's playing, he gives us a hard time. If it's Colt McCoy, man, I don't see any reason to not think that we're not going to beat these guys up. I mean, I can't think of anything much that they do better than us, really. Especially the way the defense is playing as of late. If we keep playing like this, Niners 27, because I think our offensive blowout, we're going to have to start scoring more points. I see it coming little by little. So, you know what? Let me go a little long. Let me go a little bit more, right? Let me go like 33 points, 32 points around that area, 31 points, over 30. Niners over 30, Cardinals 7.
Nothing's been easy this year. I mean, so far it's been pretty rough. But even when they get a big win, you look at it and go, God, it was just too close. It's just things are not happening as easy as we'd like. But this game, I see McCaffrey having a huge game because of last game. He probably feels like they didn't get him involved enough to win the game because he's pretty much as good as he can back it up, right? So I think that Mitchell and him equally have big games, but I think you see more of McCaffrey and being able to get that ball that like he threw to McLeod out of the backfield when you hit him in stride. He's going for 20 yards a play on that because they don't know who to cover at that point. It's tough with a healthy Debo, but I also would like to see more targets towards Kittle's way because 2 targets in a game like that got so close, man, that was not enough. Kittle needs to get the ball more, and I think in this game you see him, McCaffrey, have big games and 2 touchdowns apiece, possibly. But in the end, I see we end up putting in Purdy for the last 2 series, and it's 48-21 Niners.
Nice.
21.
So,
you give him 21 points. Ouch.
I'm going to give us
before the halftime adjustments.
I'm going to give you guys 2 predictions for the price of 1. If Kyler Murray starts, our offense is going to score at least 40 points. Our defense will probably give up somewhere around 20-something points, but I think they're going to be like late blowout, garbage points towards the end of the game when it's already out of hand. If Colt McCoy starts, I think it's going to be a much closer game. I think they're going to run the ball more. They're not going to be as explosive or turnover susceptible, run as many turnover susceptible plays. I think it's going to be a much closer game. I think it's going to be 24-21. It's going to be like a Robbie Gould kick at the end to win the game. So I just feel like they're a much better team with Colt McCoy as their quarterback than they are with Kyler Murray. So we'll see how it happens. We'll see if Kyler does wind up coming back and starting, but I think we're going to have a much easier go of it if he's the quarterback. I don't think he's a consistently good quarterback. He makes a ton of mistakes out there. He's very inaccurate. He causes a lot of turnovers for his team, and I just like our ability to score points on them when he's in the game. We're going to have shorter fields. We're going to get turnovers, so that's going to lead to more points and more success for us. So that's how I see it go down. It all depends on who's the quarterback for the Cardinals, and if Colt McCoy it's going to be much more of a nail biter.
Interesting. I agree with you though. I think Kyler Murray is nowhere near as accurate as fantasy owners would like him to be. I've seen him like blow a game, like a wide open receiver and just just doesn't nail him. The guy is wide open with zero coverage. He just throws it bad.
I'd like to see us keep going deep to McLeod, and they'll hook up eventually. He's open a lot when he goes deep. He's fast.
Man, if we get him involved more and more, that's just there's so many balls. There's just not enough balls to get out to all these.
Either
dudes.
that, it would be nice to see him return a kick for a touchdown, which we haven't had in so long.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember the last time. Maybe Ted Ginn Jr. or something.
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was the last time.
Wow, we're talking in the 10-year range, guys. Wow,
that's Kyle Williams. Insane. Anybody? Kyle Williams?
Can't recall. I remember him, but I can't recall. I remember him for other things, unfortunately. I remember for other reasons. I don't think
he ever returned one for us. He only all the memories are bad. All the memories are negative. Anyways, boys, great show.
There you have it, guys.
Next week after a victory over the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City, and right before Thanksgiving, let's get it done.
Again, just to reiterate on that, great show, guys, as well. If you notice, nobody has a drink for a change, so that tells you that it's the morning and we all are going somewhere to work.
Yeah, well, I'm still working on the coffee, so.
And you don't know what's in my coffee mug, just for
Oh, that's true too. Good point.
Yeah. Before we get out, just want to say happy birthday or belated birthday to Luke.
Happy birthday, Luke.
Thank you.
Turned 73 yesterday.
73.
Looks great. He looks great for his age. I think he's aged very well. I got to get on his keto paleo diet or whatever he's doing to stay so young. Happy birthday.
Thank you, guys. Go Niners, and let's get another victory on a Monday night here in Mexico City.
Let's do it. Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Good show.